Good morning. Okay, I don't know how this is going to go because I've been trying to do messages on Instagram this morning and it hasn't really been loading. So I'm hoping that, one, I can do the video and it doesn't like cut out, and two, it will save. So cross your fingers, please. All right. So today we're doing these. They are snowdrops or bluebells or lily of the valley. So it depends on what kind of colors that you want to incorporate, if you know what I mean. Hi. So yeah, if you wanted like a bluebell look, then you can choose like a light blue. If you wanted to do a lily of the valley or snowdrops, then they would definitely have to be like a white or an off-white color. So because I have off-white here, I might go for either straight white or like a light blue. I've already used that color. Good morning, but I already have blue here as well. So maybe I'll do just like white, like straight up white. Like a nice, you know? Like white. I was looking for one color, but I don't think I have any more of it. It's got like a little shimmer to it. That's like an off-white. I think I'll go with this one. Okay. So for this one, we'll do the leaves first. And for the leaves, we're going to do a little fishbone stitch action. So with the fishbone stitch, you're going to be overlapping your threads. You're going to go one down the middle, and then left across, right across, left across, right across. And you're going to keep that going all the way down to the very, very end. So let me get my pen. I feel like I need to blow my nose again as well. Sorry. Where's my little pen? Here's a blue one. Blue one will work. I'm all stuffy, but I don't have a fever, so I think that's fine, right? As long as I don't have a fever, just keep on going. So we're gonna have to stitch right over the top of these. And what we're going to do, it's gonna be a little bit difficult for me because I don't have anywhere to rest my hand to do the drawing. But you're gonna make a line down the middle. And what I like to do is also do a line on this side and a line on this side. And this will become more apparent when I'm doing the stitching, if you know what I mean. So right now you've just got a line down the middle, and then a line on this side and a line on this side. And we'll just make up these flowers afterwards. So don't worry about like drawing over it or anything like that. And let me pick a nice green. That'll be a good one. And I'm going to use 3 strands, I think. Six strands makes a nice bold line, but I think because of these little guys, I'll have to do 3. And plus you can really get the crossover going with 3 strands. Yeah, variegated green would be nice here as well, because it will really show like the color changes in the green. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll do 1 straight stitch down the middle, and how long the straight stitch is, that's kind of where your crisscrossing will start. So if you do a really, really, really long straight stitch down the middle, then really you're only going to have from here until the bottom to do your crisscrossing. But if you do a shorter one, you're going to have the whole length of the leaf to do the crisscrossing. And it will all make sense once I start stitching. I'm just doing a knot at the very end. Okay. So I'm going to do a short-ish one here. So we're going to go from the tip. Yeah. Just about that far. Okay. Now, I like to do, when I have a bit more space up here, I like to do one on either side that go through the same hole as the one I've just done. So we'll just come down a little bit farther because it kind of fills up the tip of the leaf. Okay, so that's what we have now. I've just done the 3 stitches. Is that a little bit better? Okay, so now we're going to alternate one on the left, one on the right. You can start on the right as well if you wanted. If you wanted to start on the right, then it will always go right, left, right, left. If you start on the left, it will go left, right, left, right. And your stitches have to cross this middle line right here. So that's why I tend to put one line on either side so that you know that you can put your stitches down on this line and it will definitely cross. Some people go all the way to the other side of the leaf, meaning, let me get the big, like the sword one out, meaning that you go from here and then you cross all the way and you end on the other side of the leaf. I find that for me just wastes a lot of thread because really to get the crisscrossing effect, you just have to cross this middle line right here. So you can choose what you want to do and how it best works for you. Do you know what I mean? So if you've done the stitch before and you think, well, I already know how to do it, just do it the way that you normally do it. You don't have to change just because of what I've said, you know, if you know that it works. So all we're going to do is just cross over this line and we want to try and keep the same kind of angle. So we've already kind of started with this slight angle like this. You don't want to start going like this straight across because that doesn't give like a nice smooth look here, does it? You want to kind of have like a nice angle. The other thing is you don't want to make it too short of an angle like this because then you're going to have white spots. You're going to be able to see through. So if you're having trouble with like how steep, how severe to put your angle, you can always just lay your thread over like I've just done, and then you can kind of see where to put it down. So now we come up on the right and we're going to cross it almost the same part over, you know? And we want to try and keep that same angle. So this one will follow just a little bit down. We don't want these threads to be on top of each other either. We want it to be... Can you not do a knot on the back, please? You just want it to be like one stitch down so that it always starts to make this almost like a braid or like a plait down the middle. So we go back up on the left and cross the middle over here. Please, please don't start this. Do you guys ever like talk to your thread? This is 3 strands. And you're just gonna keep making these X's like this. Just stitch right over them flowers. Don't try to go around them. you're just going to make it harder on yourself. And then we continue. It is a little bit taxing, I guess, because I could just make it up, but then, you know, because you do have to do more stitches than if I would have just done a plain satin stitch, because a satin stitch I could have done probably 10 or 15 straight lines with 6 strands and it would have been finished. But this gives a really nice effect, a little bit more texture. It makes it look a little bit more interesting, especially if you have really plain flowers. So I tend to kind of mix up. If I have a really intricate looking flower, unless the whole piece is going to be really intricate and like full of details, then I tend to try and match them with a more plain looking leaf to try and make most of the attention go towards the flower. And then alternately, if I have a really simple looking flower, I might try and put a more detailed leaf so that, you know, they can kind of like offset each other. So you can kind of see that the line down the middle is following the line, the very first line that I made. And then when you get to the bottom, you might have to do a couple extra stitches on one side or the other depending on the shape. So obviously this one's got more space on this side than it does this side. So I might have to make up a couple stitches on that side. Meaning on this side, I'm going to run out of space where I'll still have more space on the other side. I think that's also because I'm not following the outline very carefully over there. See. So yeah, what do we think? What's your favorite stitch so far? Or what's your favorite flower so far? Also, I have to show you, Meg's daughter did a little rainbow stitch of a rainbow, and it is so good. I'm going to post it in my stories today. I just wanted to ask her if it was okay first, and yesterday was absolutely mental. So actually, it wasn't too bad. So when I got down to the bottom, I didn't have too much extra, yeah? So we're going to do the exact same on the other side. So remember, it's 1 down the middle and then 1 on each side through the same hole, and then you start your crisscrossing. And we want to try and have the same look on this side and this side. So if you started really high on this one, start the same on this side, or else one will start really low. Do you know what I mean? They won't be like matching. And that's just like a personal preference because of how the drawing is. Okay, so Olivia likes French knots. Oh, see, that's funny because I know a lot of people do not like French knots, like at all. Alice says stem stitch, fiddly looking, but simple and very satisfying. I also love stem stitch. It's a really great stitch for outlining as well. Jamie T is here. we're just talking about what is our favorite stitches. And we're doing the fishbone stitch today. I'm so glad this is working. I was really, really nervous that it wasn't going to work because of my internet being really slow today. I don't know what's the deal. But someone in a Facebook group said that they couldn't get their internet to work very well either. So maybe it's like everywhere, not just me. I could still watch television shows, but for some reason I just like loading Instagram messages. I could like load them, but all of the words were like bubbles, but there was just nothing in them, like no text. So I could like see that people were messaging, but there was nothing in their message. So weird. Olivia said that she used to not like French knots, but seemed to have gotten them down. That's good. I think that this is gonna like sound crazy, but there's like nothing worse in stitching than when you know that you have to do a stitch that you do not like. And you don't like it because you can't do it, not because you just don't like it, you know? Oh, Susanna, that's okay. We're just talking about our favorite stitches, and we're doing the fishbone stitch right now. And I'm almost out of thread, so I'm gonna put a knot in it. And I'm gonna show you the back because the backs turn out really pretty on this. Look how pretty. Ooh, Van Beck says, mine is slow because hubby is home working. I was wondering that too. Like if it's because David is also home. So like he's using the internet and I'm using the internet. And so, but he's upstairs using the internet now and it seems to be fine. The woven wheel stitch. Oh, I didn't put any on this one because I did one on the last one. And you can really only use them for like roses. So yeah, that's a little bit like, you know, like if you can only use it for one flower, then where's the other half? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, Susanna says, everyone is using the internet like a lot. Absolutely. I know that Netflix said they were going to like lower their bandwidth, like make the resolution a little bit less so that everyone else can like use the internet more. And I was like, okay, but I watch TV like all day. Don't do that to me. Isn't that horrible? Ugh. I'm all stuffy. Okay, back to it. I think we ended on that side, so I'm going to come up on this side. Now, these do take a while. I should just stop and do the other flowers right now. But I'm not going to. I'm going to finish because these, look at that. I've got a gap in my hoop right there. That's annoying. Because these flowers overlap. So I'm going to try my best to finish, but just do it like really quickly. So for the little flowers, you can do a couple of different stitches that would be suitable. So you can try these little baby ones. You can do a regular old satin stitch for the middle of each one. I would do maybe 3 strands so that you can really fill it in. No, I don't. Thank you, Scott Harris, but I'll pass. You can do the detached chain stitch or the lazy daisy and do kind of 1 for each. 1, 2, 3. You could fill it in with just like a plain split stitch. That will give them a little bit more texture though. So with stitching, you kind of have to think, especially if you're going to be doing like pattern making or just doing pattern making like for yourself or to sell. You kind of have to think, how am I going to fill this in? What stitches am I going to use? And it's not necessarily a choice of which one do I want to use, because a lot of times you have to use certain stitches because that's what works. Do you know what I mean? Like just because you want to use a stitch somewhere, that might not be the best stitch to use. It might not be the best way. So that's a big part of embroidery as well, is kind of knowing what stitches you can use for which things. Oh, Sass and Twee's here. I'm also still waiting for fabric because my normal fabric place is closed because of the lockdown. So I've ordered some online and it said it was going to come today, but now it's saying it's going to come on Monday. So I'm not happy, guys. So this is kind of what I was trying to say before when I was saying that you might run out of space on one side but have more space on the other side. And if that happens, you can just do some straight stitches to finish it out. Like it doesn't matter that they're not crossed on the very bottom, because you won't see that anyways. So you can tell I'm kind of like making up some crossed stitches. Hey, saving this for later for something to do, but just been watching whilst prepping a chili for the slow cooker. I love chili. We make white chicken chili here. And it's so good. We put like sweet corn, peppers, zucchini, beans, chicken. It's so yummy. Okay, so we have our 2 leaves here. And I think I'm going to do a big stem stitch down the middle because of these curves. So remember the stem stitch as you come up in the middle. Alice says, same, just the best morning coffee in the garden accompaniment. You're very soothing. Really? I feel like I just come here and complain the whole time. And my stuffy nose probably doesn't help. Now, obviously, you can use a different color if you wanted to. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to use the same. And remember with stem stitch, you want to put the loop on the hump. So this line is curving out this way, so our loop is going to go that way. The same way. And for all these little stems that are kind of plopping off, you're going to make your stitches a lot smaller. So I'm starting to make them a little bit smaller already, but we're going to have to make them even smaller. Otherwise, it won't go around the curve very well. Keeping the loop on the hump. And trying not to hit the recording phone stand. just gonna do this one more little one, and then I'm done. And we'll jump right over here and continue, again, the loop on the hump. So the hump is going up like this, so your loop will go up like that as well. Hi, Wanda. I know my finger is like in the way. I'm really sorry. Okay, and then it's like already been 30 minutes, so I kind of want to stop, but I kind of don't want to stop because I'm gonna have to go back and do it later, you know? My heating just came on. I can feel it because I'm like really sweaty hot now. Good morning. Wanda says good morning, everyone. Remember, small stitches on these little curves. You're gonna think, these are too small. But no, they're not. Make sure you make them small. Whew. Good morning, Robin. That's my mom's name. But hers is I-N, not Y-N. She's like the only one in our family that doesn't have a Y or a T name. Where is she today, actually? Wake up, Robin. She always comes. So do you remember? We had one here, and it's hidden behind. So you're just going to have to make that one up, which I'm sure is like your favorite thing ever. I have a feeling it was down a little bit farther. It'll be fine. And when you go through these leaves, you want to go straight down, not on an angle like this. You want to go straight down, like as close to straight down as you can. And that is because when you pull your stitches straight like that, it won't pull the leaf stitches in different ways. It won't like disturb the pattern or like the, you know, whatever that you've made. So there we go. So we have all of our green finished. There's only 5, so that's good. Now, do you remember I said that you can kind of choose what you want, how you want to fill them in? Ooh, good morning from Minnesota. And I'm choosing this kind of off-white kind of color. So you can either do some little lazy daisies. You can do some nice satin stitches. It just depends on the kind of look that you want. Say kind of again, Tori. Just do it. I'm gonna do 2 strands. Ooh, good morning from Scotland. I'm gonna choose 2, and I think I'm going to do some lazy daisies on here, because 1, I think they'll be cute, and 2, it's just another nice stitch that you can learn. But again, choose however you want to fill them in. I think a nice satin stitch would be really cute because they'll be nice and smooth. But let's try and do 3 lazy daisies. I'm just tying the knot on the end. Getting a drink. Okay. Lazy daisies go like this. I feel like I'm gonna regret this already, you know, before I've even started. So a lazy daisy goes like this. We haven't done them yet. So you're gonna go up, yeah, make a loop and go down like right next to where you've just come up. And you're not gonna pull it all the way through. You're gonna leave a loop like that. And you're gonna come up inside the loop. Like that. And pull it through. And what's gonna happen is this loop is gonna tighten up right around where you came up, yeah? And then you're gonna go right back down on the other side of that thread. Just the stitch length is going to be just the length of this thread right here. Just right on the other side of that. So not out here, yeah? Just a little tiny stitch on the other side. So there's one, yeah? So this is called the lazy daisy or the detached chain stitch. Normally when you do chain stitches, you would start like that, but the next one would go through this one, and it would make like a chain, like almost like a necklace chain. So we're gonna do the same thing, but on the other side. Now, if you pull them too tight, like I've just done, you get a really like straight line, and you don't want that. You kind of want it to be like loopy. So you might have to make it less tight. And then lastly, we're gonna do one right in the middle over top of these two. Hi, Kim. How are you? I haven't talked to you in ages. So this one's gonna go right on top and be the middle one. There you go. Now, if you don't like the space that's in the middle of these, because if I zoom in, you can tell that in the loops, you can kind of see the white. You can always do straight stitches that go on the inside, and I'll do one so you can see. You can also choose a different color and fill it in with a different color. So they would look like this. Now I'm only using 2 strands for this. I've got a knot on the back. Why do you do this to me today of all days? Just behave, okay? Please. I'm inclined to just say screw it and leave the knot on the back, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'll sort it out later. So there you go. So you can fill them in with these little straight lines. And when you do that, it just makes it a bit more solid, you know? But you really want to go inside. So you don't want to go through this little stitch here. You want to go right in front of it and then end kind of towards the back, towards the end. So I do not have regret on these. I think they look super cute. I thought I would. I'll just do like 1 or 2 more because this is a really long video today. And then you can do the rest on your own. And you just want to keep on going. Keep on stitching. Now you can kind of see the difference between this one and this one. This one I went like right through the same hole, or really close to, and this one here I went next to it, so there's actually a space between, and it makes it look like a U instead of a teardrop. So just be aware of that and what kind of look that you want, because I think the teardrops look a little bit nicer, but if you like the U shape, then of course you can do that. So to kind of remedy this so I don't have to take it back out, I'm just going to do another one right in the middle, but I'm going to go over top of that one side of the U that got a little bit carried away. So now it doesn't look so, you know, weird. Kim says, hey, I'm okay. Work is absolutely insane. Not ignoring you. My phone just rang. That's totally fine. I don't mind at all. Gonna jump down here. I keep saying I'm gonna be done, and then I do more and more and more. I'm sorry. So for filling them in, on the white, you probably don't have to worry about it so much because you see that they are white. Do you know what I mean? Because the fabric is white. But on the green part, because we're gonna be stitching straight over this green leaf, have a think about filling it in. I'll put right in the middle of these two. Oh, that's a droopy one. And then we'll just do 3 straight stitches on the inside to make them a bit more white. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'll do the other 2 on my own because this video is already too long. People will start getting mad. I don't think they'll get mad. There you go. And I did choose a smaller needle for 2 strands, just like I told you the other day. It's just a personal preference that if I use 2 strands or 1 strands, I like to have one that has a smaller eye, and it's just slightly smaller. But the shaft of the needle is also a bit slimmer, so it alters the size hole that you make in the fabric. So real quick, you can tell these ones are just a little bit bigger than these ones. So you kind of have to think about that when you're doing embroidery as well, because you don't want the hole to be much, much larger than the size of the thread that you're putting through, if that makes sense. So if I put 1 strand of thread in a really thick needle, then, you know, like this one, then you'll be able to see those holes the whole time. Whereas if I did 1 strand with these, you won't be able to see them as much. So just have a think about that. Okay, that's all for me. Make sure you do all 5. Don't just do 3. You have to do all 5. And you do have to do the one that is hidden. So don't try and get out of it. by saying, oh, I'm just going to stitch over it and it'll be fine. No, you have to do that one. You have to make it up. Okay? So enjoy your day. I hope you have a lovely Friday. It's finally Friday. Not that we can go anywhere or do anything, but we made it. I will talk with you tomorrow. There is a video tomorrow. We're doing the anemone, so you can pick your colors today for that. So I'll talk with you later, and I hope you have a lovely day.